evening. Good evening. We want to welcome our viewers and listeners across the globe. I am Alfonso and Sot of the Liberia Public Radio and Lpr-Tv. We said good to have you here. This is Sunday, and this is the Examiner. We are coming right in our own community to look at people that are making extraordinary contributions and to share their expertise. Sometimes we need to seize politics. If you're joining us, wherever you are this evening, we say thank you. You can follow us live on our live Facebook feed and that of our YouTube channel as well. Good evening. This is the first time you are on the official news outlet of the Liberia Public Radio. We'll be having a conversation with one of our own. Dr. Thelma Brown-Kaine will be joining me from Minneapolis, Minnesota. A prominent Liberian actively involved in the Grand United Association at some point in time when Quiet Ball was involved in multitudes of roles. So she's going to be here with us. We are proud of her work and how far she has gone. She's standing by backstage. I'm going to be bringing her in very shortly. So welcome. Just hit that do a favor. If you can hit the share icon to invite someone at this program. Let's take this quick commercial break and I will be right back.
Do you want to share your events with the world? Why not contact us? We are Liberia Public Radio, LPR. We are the specialists in advertisements, commercials, radio and TV services. We have the professionals that can help you sell your products and provide live coverage of all events such as weddings, conventions, graduations, reunions, anniversaries, sports, birthdays, baby showers, religious activities, funerals, and many more. Take your phone right now and call any of the following numbers: 682-433-8802, 267-648-6089.
At a time from here in the East Coast. My guest is here. Let's have the conversation going here this evening. And as the lover boy, he's good to be back with us this evening. Today, this was fabulous. The free therapeutic program. Welcome to the show. I'm Alfonso and Sot of the Liberia Public Radio and Lpr-Tv. Thank you so much for being here. Let's get a ball rolling right here this evening here. Welcome again. Good evening. I'm going to be ushering in my guests, and we're going to get this conversation. Wherever you are, joining, I will say good to have you here. Let me just bring in my guests right now, standing by backstage. Okay, there you have us. Let me just do quick homework here. Okay, just bear with me. Okay, let's USA. All right, let's do it here, and just in case. Okay, good evening, good evening. Good to be back here. Been a little while, but I'm not going to ask you for introduction. That would be insane. But it's a tradition. We have to do it for the benefit of the audience. You're gonna be wondering, is that a white woman there? Is that a Hispanic woman? Is that a whatever? They're gonna be making a guess game. But I would like to have it come from the house's mouth. Dr. Khan, good evening and good to have you here. Welcome on LPR, your own network.
Good evening. Thank you for having me. I really appreciate the invitation and I'm glad to be here.
I'm not hearing you.
Can you hear me? Hold on one second. Well, can you hear me now?
Let me see. The audio.
Can you hear me? I did allow access.
Not getting you here. The audio is still not coming. I'm not sure what I was corrupt in the internet.
Can you hear me now?
Let's see. What are you want me to get you off and come back and see?
Yeah,
let me see. Yeah, something not right. Let me just get you off and then you can come back here. Well, folks, just bear with us here. This is the only independent show. The liberal and his ally, Jerry Boashi, and the rest of the folks, they are on the run now. Too much going on, so they can't stand his heat. So there, yeah. But folks, just bear with us. We will work on the audio. So we did a good testing initially. Sometimes we have to come right within the community and talk to people that are actively involved in community work as well and some of their engagement. And so we need to not just only the politician. Okay, let's see here. Hopefully it's going to be here. Are you there?
Yeah, I'm here. Can you hear me now?
Let's go. Oh, wait, let me see. Hello?
Yeah, can you hear me?
Okay. My sincere apology. My finger went on something here. See why I couldn't hear you. Yet, perfectly, yeah. I'm hearing loud and clear. I am sorry. We got to admit to wrong. The finger here, they just went somewhere here. Okay, again, like I said, Dr. Khan, good to have you here. Being a why, and we just intend to have a conversation with the extraordinary pose and achievement. I think at times we need to come right back in our own community and see what is happening in our community, people that are involved in community initiative and extraordinary journey and all of that. It's good to have this success as well. So good to have you. Let's just for the benefit of the audience, self-introduction I think is much better. So I don't want to leave some important pieces out here this evening.
Well, thank you again for having me. And to those listening, I am Dr. Thelma Brown-Kaine. I live in Minnesota, and I actually moved here from Pennsylvania about almost 8 years ago, and I live here with my family in Minnesota.
Okay, all right, good to have you here. And we're going to be discussing. You are at liberty if you choose not to talk about anything, but I intend to tap into your expertise and do some little backtracking here. We all were heavily, heavily involved in this community. Let's start with our own community, the Grand United Association. So let's do a little bit backtracking. A lot of things were going on, and now let's take a backdrop of what was then and now with the community. Is it tiring now?
Who, me?
No, I say it's the whole entire process is it tiring now, Ty? Is it not worth it, or what do you think?
No, I got busy, and within the last, I would say 4 years, let's say within 7 years span, I had a lot of changes in my personal life. I moved here from Pennsylvania, and then I went back to school. I earned my master's degree, and then within a year of doing that, I had to go back to school and to do my doctorate. So it's been busy. My personal life has been extremely busy. As a wife, a mother, and a professional woman, I had so many changes and so many things that have been happening in my life. So in order to do things, you have to put some things on the back burner. And that's what all I did. Nothing is, I didn't say, oh, Granger Association is not worth it anymore. It is, because anything for, my people, for our people is so important. But in as much as those things were also important, having a career and being there for my family was more important to me at that moment. So that's what I've been doing the last couple of years, is just focusing on myself and focusing on my family and just making sure I grow my professional life.
Absolutely. And again, I would say it, we are so proud as a daughter of Liberia, Grand Judy, someone that has come this far. And that's one of the reasons, because it is good to have this sort of conversation in order to lift others as well. There can be interventions in other people's life based on some story people give up because of different reasons. Now you are done with this. What next?
Well, I'm always here to render my expertise when it comes to my community outreach. I know this year, I did a lot of speaking engagements, and whatever way possible I can contribute to the community. Like I said, I don't have to hold a position within an organization to make an impact. I can make impact in so many ways than just being maybe something, having a position. I'm not cut out for that kind of stuff. My impact is to make a difference. Even if it's one person life that I'm making a difference in, I think it means a whole lot. Right now, my main focus is just focusing on the business aspect, the professional aspect, the business aspect of my life. And that's what my main focus is. But whenever I'm called upon, I'm always available to do what I have to do for the community.
So you talk about, I did hear you talking about speaking. When you say speaking, what specifically, who are you been talking to, and what is the lesson? What are you gathering from those sort of public speaking, if you will, if that's it, you're being gathering, and that we as a people, as a country, as a community, maybe needs recorded more time.
Well, most of the time, I'm a guest speaker at events, conventions, and other events that are held in the community. But most of the time, I do domestic violence outreach, and I'm a mental health professional. So most of my team and my speaking is based on the mental aspect of people. As a community, we as Liberians, we went through a brutal civil war, and a lot of us were traumatized during that time period, because as a young teenager, you find yourself in another country and without your parents, you're living life. There are so many things that happen. And, because we're Africans, we're not used to the lifestyle here that, there are certain things that people did to you in the past that traumatized you. So those things, we sweep them under the rug, we move on with life. But in the end, these things come trickling back. So I just try to talk to people, educating people about domestic issues, about things that you should allow and not allow to some extent, whatever it is, that's something that will distress you. So I just try to do those kind of things, reach out to people. I have females or males that reach out to me, and I just give my, professional advice and those kind of things to the community as much as I can.
I think this is a very good posture here because we all know how the society badly hates people. Saw things before their very eyes. They were young, like you rightfully alluded. We all went through the things that one could not imagine. I think this is a very huge one to the community. What are you gathering? What is your reception? I'm asking this to say the tendency of our people, we tend not to value the professional career of our own, one of our own, in terms of what you have gone through. Oh, it's a librarian. I tell you, this one will do that. How do you kind of navigate through that? Because I think this is something that we really need to talk about, not only here, and but this message to also to our own people inside Liberia. How do you navigate through that, Dr. Khan?
So, in every professional life, you have to have that rapport. You have to commit yourself. You have to let people to trust you. So part of it is not talking too much, is not repeating things that people tell you, because I personally take everything on a professional level. If you come to me with your issue, there's no way. There are things that I hear in the community or people confide in me that you would never hear anywhere, even not even with my own spouse. Because I feel when people trust you and you build a relationship or rapport with people, you cannot go back and say things that, and then the person will go and hear it somewhere. So I try to have that distinction. This is professional, this is regardless, because the line of work I do, I have to make sure, like I tell people, I joke about it. I say, what, my line of work, I'm supposed to keep people's secrets. So I'm good at doing that. Not unless you want me to say it, then I will say it. But in as much, even if you want me to say it, I don't think it's my place to say certain things. So people are very receptive if they know that they can trust you. And it's all about trust, no matter what it is, building good rapport. I talk to females every day. I talk to males. People would send me DMs and stuff like that. And I just give them my honest truth. Sometimes, like, do you want to hear the honest truth? Do you want me? I can be brutal with it, but this is how it's going to be. Yeah. So it's just the trust, building trust, and I try to do that in the community. So people are already open and receptive, and people would tell me, they're looking at my own life. I put my life out there, and I'm like, this is my life. This is what I've been through. So if I can make it through these, those circumstances, I think you can do the same thing. I made a lot of hard decisions, but those decisions, when I look back now, if you ask me, I'll make those same decisions again.
Yeah, you did mention something, honesty and brutal decision, and this is in our daily life. This is something that we do not use with Africans in general, despite of our long stay here, and this is not what people here for them to tell you why it is, and and provide the resources. How difficult, considering your background, where you came from, now you start in with your professional career. Look at for the Alfonso, for example, came out to you and you figure out something. Uh, is there something by hesitation to tell him the truth, go come back the next day? How do you go through that?
For me, like I said, honesty matters. And as a psychiatrist, nurse practitioner, I listen to so many stories all day long. My like sitting here with you, I do that maybe 8 to 10 hours a day. That's what I do for a living. I've heard so many stories. So if people say, for example, if Alfonso comes to me, I have to be honest with him. I have to tell him the truth. So if Alfonso does not want the truth, coming from a professional point of view, then which means he shouldn't come to me, because I would just tell you what it is and give you advice and guidance in how to fix these things, because that's what I do for a living. You come to me, I give you you tell me your issue, and I would do my best, based on evidence, based on the medical evidence-based practices, and tell you, this is the plan. It's left for you after I tell you which way for you to pivot in order for things to be right. It's left for you. But I'll just give you my professional guidance in as much as I can, just so I can help you out and try to encourage you. I'm not going to force you, but I'm going to encourage you. Encouraging people to make changes in their lives is what I do.
Yeah, and the reason I think is quite fascinating. Somebody thinking, I think a conversation definitely, because I really find it interesting. Because one of the things is our people, we are generally for the most part in denial of the real truth. Our people have the tendency of having interest, things that they want to hear, not necessarily things that they need to know.
Mhm.
That happens in our daily life, social, politics, and all of that. Sometimes you try to be honest. Oh, what she tried to prove, what he tried to prove. How difficult it is if you were to meet your own people, and considering your own professional background, because that's what you learn, that's what you practice, that's what you do for a living, and look in the eyes, for example, a family person, and having had a conversation with this person and this issue of mental health, try to explain it either to the mom or to the dad. You say, where she coming from? The thing that the people always tie these things African side, somebody responsible for things. How can you possibly deal with this sort of situation?
So I'll tell you now, it's not even Liberians. I'll tell you, some of my most difficult patients, at my African descent patients, it's hard for you to get through to them, because they have their beliefs that mental health doesn't exist. And even living in this country and being practicing for the last couple of years, you believe me or not, we still have difficulty with even patients that are born and raised here, finding it difficult that this thing they call anxiety or this thing they call depression exists. I mean, that's why we're as professional, you do your best to get through to people, to explain, show people evidence, show people, let's try this. If it doesn't work, we can always try this other way. For example, some patient came to me, he's from, I think, East Africa or something, and he wasn't sleeping at night. So I asked him all the questions. So I said, why are you not sleeping at night? Oh, in the night, I just can't sleep. I twist and turn, I twist and turn. So I said, well, let's treat your anxiety. He's, oh, I don't have anxiety. Why should I have anxiety? I'm just drinking a lot of coffee. So I said, okay, go home. I give you 3 days, stop drinking coffee and see whether you're still going to fall asleep. So he said, oh, okay, I can do that. Maybe it's just the caffeine. Okay, yeah, I understand caffeine does do that. However, you're not drinking caffeine to the point where you should not sleep. So he didn't believe me because I was telling him that you do have anxiety. Once you have anxiety, you're not going to sleep because your mind needs to rest at nighttime in order for you to fall asleep. So I explained all that. He told me he was fine. He didn't want to take medication because he does not believe that any medication will help you to relax your mind and in order for you to sleep. I said, fine. In a week time, I get a phone call and I got, urgent message that this patient wanted to get back on my schedule and they wanted to see me urgently. So it's stuff like that. You have to, sometimes the hard truth, and then it's the hard, okay, go do it your way. If it doesn't work, you can come back to me. I'm always here available for you. So we just tell patients, try to get through to them. Some are very difficult and some of them they'll tell you, okay, I'll try it, but I don't think it's going to work. And then when they try it, they see that it's working, then they become consistent with you. So this gentleman, I was able to give him medication for him to start relaxing, calm him down, because even talking to him, I could see he was shaking and I knew that was anxiety. He had a lot of anxiety that he was not treating. He has not treated because he never believed there's something called anxiety. So from that point, he's been my patient now almost 6 months, and we've been working together and he's been fine. He's able to function. He's able to sleep at night, have restful nights. So it's just trying. We're taught and educated to teach. I mean, to educate people in the best way possible. It's left with them to take it.
Oh, this is quite interesting. Looking at our communities and see what is happening. We go to conventions, some people behaviors becomes unusual out of the setting, conversation, the way of doing things. Do you think it is time for us to have a second and maybe these organizations focus on the social services? I've come to realize that's one of the things that is lacking. And so it is difficult to make the organization grow. For example, if I have a son here, have a daughter here who is having issue in a part of this organization, and there's no component of that organization to address professionals to address the thing because perhaps we deliberately do not want to talk about it because uh, I just don't know. Do you think it's time for us to have a second talk to address this issue? Now we have our people in different professional fields, and they are willing to give by. Hearing what I'm hearing from you, speaking going to other places, do you think it's time for the leaders to step into that sort of public awareness?
Yeah, I think so because we live in a different society, and I'll give you an example. Sometimes, for the most part, we as African, we think when we're talking to you, we should be yelling. And so I was somewhere recently in an African store, and this guy, I'm standing right there. He's speaking to me and speaking so loud. So I said, "Why are you yelling?" "Oh, I'm not yelling. I'm not." I said, "Yes, you are." I said, I'm talking to you to this level, and I just want you to calm down because, oh, you Americans, you always think people are yelling. I said, yeah. So the other lady who was an African American woman, she said, yeah, he's always yelling. I don't know why he's mad. So I said, yeah, so after the lady left and I went to him, I said, it's the tone. So socially, if I'm standing in front of you, you should have eye contact with me and speak to my level instead of you. I said, but you're up here. Why? I'm just asking you simple question. And then this is something another person noticed. So I'm sure there's several people. So it's like it's not like you're. So I said, but when you speaking so loud, you come off like you're angry. But you're saying you're not angry. But how am I supposed to tell you're not angry? I said, because both of us standing there asking you the same question and you yelling. I said, to me, that's yelling. So those social issues that Africans take for granted and take for nothing, these things are serious in the community. Even how to address your kids, how to address your spouses and people, all those things can be taught because this society is so different. We go to convention, it's so much yelling, there's no organization and will be there. And sometimes those things can be so tiring. So these are things that one time I was like, I think we need to have like a huge symposium and just educate people, even if it's like vaccines, like going to take their blood pressure, checking their blood sugar and doing labs and doing other things and learning how to have conversation with people. All these things can be taught, because we come from a different background. So there are certain things you do here, people look at you and say, why is he doing that? Or going to use the bathroom. Like this society, we know when you use the bathroom, you're supposed to wash your hands. And when you just go to the bathroom and leave without anyone hearing water, people look at you and like, whoa, did that person just do that? So there are, societal norms that we as African needs to learn and adjust to. And sometimes you try to tell your people these things and they're like, oh, because the thing they're educated, because the thing they came here, they went to school. But it's not that. It's not like looking down on someone. It's just like bringing you up to speed to society.
So I have interest, like with the example you were citing with this gentleman. When someone is yelling or their voice or their tone is so what does that suggest? You, from your professional background, what does that tell you?
Aggression. Aggression. I Are you angry about something? You know, So sometimes I tell people, you no need to yell. Let's just have the conversation one on one. Understand me. When I'm speaking, you listen. When you're speaking, I listen because that's the only way we're gonna get somewhere. But if we're all talking together, there's no way we're gonna get anywhere. So it's like those kind of things that this society, you do that, and then other people look at you like, why is this person so aggressive?
That's quite interesting. So this is something that it happens on a daily basis. So when that happens, there seems to be a disconnect with the conversation, your surrounding, because others who are there, professionals like your type, will say, "Well, it's pointless of being here because we are not connecting. The voice is going over the roof. This other person, he or she, going their way." So how do we? That's a difficult one though to tell people because if somebody say, "Well, that's how I can talk," then how do you handle such a person?
I mean, you know, two wrongs cannot make anything right. Like I'll just tell you, like that gentleman I was talking about, I just, you have to meet people where they are. So someone like that, I could not stand there while everyone else were, pounding at him and making the same like, but that's his way. That's how he know how. So when everyone left, I came back, made it my duty to come back and just explain to him further. And he did understand what I was saying. Sometimes when they say, "Oh, this is how I live," I'm like, "Okay, maybe another time we can discuss this. Maybe this is not the time." And sometimes just pushing a little harder and going soft on a person, but not making it seem like you're putting your beliefs or putting your stuff on people. So I just try to leave it when it's hot, leave it as it is, and then come back and revisit those things and just try to educate people. Education is key. Educating people about things that that are wrong, but we find them to be normal in our community.
So basically, from what I'm hearing, assumption is completely out of the way because you don't want to assume. No, no. Now, was that gentleman, was he remorseful when you went back for the second time? Was he curious to know who is this lady? While we talked about this a day or two ago, coming back talking to me, was there any interest in knowing who you are and why taking that approach?
Yeah, yeah, he knows me, and I always go there. So what he told me, he said, you always different, and when you come, you would tip, and when you come, you stand. But I wasn't being nasty to you. I don't want you to feel like I was being mean to you. But it's like other people come and you're trying to explain things to them, and maybe I took it to you, but it wasn't geared towards you. And I was like, I understand, because he said, because you're quiet. Every time you come, you ask for what you want, you stand back and you wait when we give it to you, and you leave. So he said, no, I wasn't. I don't want you to feel like I was yelling at you. I said, I know you were not yelling. I said, just that you were loud and other people were just looking, and it just looked like, okay, is he mad? Is he being aggressive? So I said, you could lose your job for that kind of stuff, because someone hears this and report you. I don't want you to lose your job. That's why I came back to talk to you. And he was remorseful. He understood where I was coming from. And he's like, yeah, I promise you, I will try to control my tone the next time I talk to people. And I say, yeah, it's just for your own good.
You saw that being authentic?
Hmm?
You being authentic, what he was saying to you?
Yeah, yeah, yeah. I mean, he's a nice guy. It's just, dealing with, like he said, dealing with some he said, dealing with some African people it can be hard, my sister. So I say, yeah, but you're at a workplace, so you just have to comport yourself, because when customers report you, it's not good. It's not a good look. So
This seems to be we get a lot to do within our community and not to talk on the bigger stage. What is the symptoms of this mental health issue here? How can one, what do you look for? What is a determining factor you as a professional that maybe if you see somebody, something unusual is happening, this is not right, this person needs a help. I guess some people did not know, they have not gone to hospital, they are not being diagnosed, they are in denial. Well, they're like a person, this is how I behave. But can you easily determine by seeing person's action, doing something like, oh, this person needs some sort of help? Is that possible?
oh yeah, part of taking this job, I mean, what I do is, people would tell me, I have my family would say I have the mental health eyes, and I do. So I can come here right now. It's 10 people sitting here, and we're all having conversation, and I can tell you, you
Hmm.
know, and I can just look, and even from having conversation, I can figure out what is going on. If that woman is facing abuse at home, or she had past trauma, even a male or female. And some of the stuff that happened to us to this day stems from the past trauma that we had in our lives, be it, rape, be it the war, and, your parents neglecting you, or your parents not being available. Those kind of things, it's how you know how. So those things that trickle into our daily lives. So yeah, I can sense a lot of things that you sitting there and I'm here. If people in the room, I can tell you right up. Like sometimes I tell my husband, I say, that person is being abused, right? That person from the way, and then he would say, "Oh my God, babe, don't be seeing people and no." what it so that's my brother said, that's that mental health eyes that I have that other people don't have. So that kind of stuff. And sometimes I'll see females and I immediately would pick up, even from my own patients would come and see me for the first time, and I would dig deeper. I would dig deeper. Sometimes they will tell me everything on the surface, and then when I come to the hard questions and tell them, I'm just going to ask you these questions because these questions are uncomfortable and they're straight to the point, but I have to know what happened in your past. And they would dance around it for some time, but then they will break down and say, yeah, when I was maybe 10 years old, I was molested, never told anyone. Now I'm 60. And then now this stuff is increasing my depression, is increasing my anxiety. And then I'm like, okay, so you can tell because as long as you've been doing this work, it's that intuition, that gut feeling that we as nurses we have. And we have that. So most of the time, if my gut feeling is telling me, there's something deeper than what this person is telling me, I just try to dig deeper. I just try to dig deeper.
Hmm. That's quite interesting. And if they are not telling you the truth, you know exactly what's going on. Then what do you do at that point? If you are not getting the answers, you have your question here because that is you want to get to the bottom line. That would be to get to the point you want to arrive. And if such a person, if that sort of information is not coming through at that interim, what do you do?
So, professionally, I cannot force you to do anything that you don't want to do. So we have criteria that patients meet in order for them to have these, when we're doing these assessments and diagnosing, we have criteria. So if you meet criteria, I'll diagnose you. If you don't meet criteria, if I know you're just playing around, I also know. And I just try to be firm in the nicest way possible. I'll tell you, you're not ready for this. And when you're ready, I'll always be here for you to come back, come and see me when you're ready for us to really dig deeper and to help your symptoms and to help you the best way possible. But I know for a fact, and just being truthful and being honest, which can be brutal, but patience, you have to be so truthful. You have to be so honest. You have to tell them the truth. I know when you're just BSing me and just don't you come in here for some other reason, I know immediately. So because I talk to hundreds of people, uh, I have almost maybe 500,000 patients. I mean, almost 500 or 1,000 patients. So I know who is serious to have their mental health taken care of and who is just here to play. So if you're here to play, then this is not the place for you. And right off the back, I will tell you before we start the assessment, this assessment goes for X amount of time. And I'm going to ask you the most uncomfortable and the most difficult question. Are you ready for us to do this? And sometimes they'll tell you yes. And sometimes they'll tell you, oh, no, what questions? And when we get there, we'll discuss it. And in the end, we'll discuss treatment. And if that's what you want to do, we're going to do it. But you have to be honest, open and honest, and let them know that you're not here to play. And if they're here for playing, then that's not the place.
Yeah, I think, and I love the word you kept being consistent, honest. This is what is lacking in the community in all of our doing. Everybody try to do that sort of shortcut and profess to be, but that's not it. With this here, how many of our people reaching out to you voluntarily at their own volition, having one of their own to be in such a position to help? I know our people, uh, I don't know what else to say, but I know it's a tough thing, right? Because a lot of things going to crank in the hair and all of that. But here we are. How many of our people have reached out to you?
I have a lot of people that reach out to me, be it from the Crown community or the Liberian community or African community. I have a lot that reach out to me, seeking advice on education and different stuff, mental health, domestic issues or financial issues and stuff like that. And I wait until most of the time, I just wait until people reach out. And sometimes I'll be on social media, let's say Facebook, and I see certain things that are going on. I just go in their DM and say, look, if you need any help at all, I'm available. This is a pro bono for my community. I'm here to render you services and give you um, things, information. I have lots of information. I have a lot of things that I can tell you that if you do, or you follow these guidelines, or if you need any professional help, I'm here for you. And just know anything you tell me is between you and I. And I once they have that trust with me, they'll always open up. And people contact me every day. My kid want to go to this school. What do you think? And like I said, I've been through every education system in this country. I started up as a licensed practical nurse, LPN. Then I went back, did my RN, did my bachelor degree with the RN. Then I went back and did my master. So you should know that I went through every step. So there's nothing that I don't have any idea about when it comes to those kind of things. So, and even as, I worked as a registered nurse. I worked in the emergency room for years. So that I have that background. And I also work in surgery. So people will call me and say, my doctor wants me to have such and such surgery or procedure. What do you think? So I worked in surgery for years. So I know that part of the hospital, and I know the part of the emergency room. So I have all these things that people will contact me about, and I'll tell them, oh no, you'll be okay. I'll tell you how this whole procedure would be, because it's the fear of the home most of the time, not knowing what's going to happen. So
Right.
they know somebody who they once they have someone who knows, and they know that person is not going to lead them the wrong way, they're more comfortable. So yeah, people reach out all the time, and I'm always here for people. And I say it all the time, I'm always here. Call me. You can send me a message um, on Messenger, and I'll always, if I don't answer today, the next day I will. But I'm usually good at responding to people.
Yeah, yeah, that one. Trust me, that one. The credit score is 100%. So, the other might be listening out there. How do I get to her? Is there special handles through which we can get to Dr. Khan? And all of that will be wondering what only by Facebook or other specific media or how?
Well, anyone that wants to get in touch with me, if you're on social media, you're on Facebook, just contact me via Messenger. Um, we have a business line, we have a business phone number, we have email address. You can contact me. But the easiest way, if you're on social media, the easiest way is to just come in my DM. Just send me a message, and I will get back to you within no time. I check that stuff every day, because probably every hour or so now, unless I'm very busy, then I will not check, or sometimes I just decide not to check. But most of the time, people contact me so much via that medium, even people in Africa, people all over the world. So, and I have family everywhere. So I try to check it, because that's one of the easiest way they can contact me. So they can reach out to me. I can give my phone number, the business phone number. I can give that. I don't like to use my personal phone line for that kind of stuff, because, I just want to keep it 100% professional.
100% professional.
Mhm.
Wow. Yes. You talk to professional, you know exactly what. When my man from Minnesota that say he's looking for force on me here, say I force it. Dr. Khan, am I being forced here? Cisco Gore here is he's our contributor. He's telling me say I've been forced.
No, you're
Yeah, man. That guy, I don't know. I guess he not get some trouble with me. Well, but on a serious note, especially with this mental health thing here, that is a very, very, very uh, serious thing. And I'm not sure if we as a people, the community on a bigger scale, need much because these are some of the things people, the young generation, young people behave the way we behave, and we just think it's natural. Something is getting them to do this sort of unusual and nothing much will be done. With your professions, if these things are not adequately addressed, treatment is not being provided, what could be the long-term implications and liability on society?
So I would tell you this, and I tell patients of different nationality this all the time. If you know that you have an issue, it's better that you seek help than for the government to get involved. So if the government, if you don't follow the treatment order, or you're disrupted to society or your neighbors, they can put you on civil commitment. So now if they put you on a civil commitment where the government is in charge of you, and they send you to me, and then now they have lists of medications for you to take. And if you come to me voluntarily without the government being involved, or says you go into all these issues, be it anxiety, depression, something is not right, you go to seek a professional help, and that person is able to sit with you and tailor your treatment plan towards you, whatever suits you. If you don't do that, and the government gets involved, where you, for example, you're going through a mental crisis and then you go and attack your neighbor and you get arrested, now they put you into they put you in a hospital. And when they do that, then the government gets involved. They put you on something they call civil commitment. With civil commitment, there's list of medications that I, as the professional, the government tells me to give you. So now you have these hardcore medications that, whether you like it or not, you will be on these medications for a year or the duration of your civil commitment. So those are some of the options that are out there. Or do you want to go to jail and not have your mental health treated? So these are some of the things that I try to explain to patients. Do you want the government to get involved, or you want me to just take care of it? You and I work together for me to take care of it, because when the government gets involved, it takes a whole different tour. So it's just explaining to them in the best way possible for them to understand, because if you don't do the right thing in the society, there's consequences.
Consequences. I'm getting the inbox here, and people how much how much for consultation for you? Somebody is asking, they want to see consultation on some of these outcome, what is involved in terms of the legal, I guess. And they're talking about how much now, know that the monetary value. We're talking.
So these, I mean, if you have health insurance, there's certain health insurance that we accept, that I accept. And then I have sliding scale. So I remember I'm a doctor, so it's not like I'm practicing as it's a different skill when you have your master level and you have a doctorate, so it's different. So that we have a sliding scale, and for the most part it's giving back as well. So I have a good sliding skill regardless of my education value. I have good sliding skill because if it's my people, I try to give back in that way too. So I don't have to be out here dishing out thousands of dollars, but once I see someone, I try to be very reasonable on a sliding scale, where I know between like a first time consultation, I mean, we call it intake, where I get to know the patient, I formulate a treatment plan, I formulate diagnosis, that would take between $300 to $500 on a sliding scale. If they have insurance, insurance covers most mental health services. And that's why people don't know. Mental health does is covered under most health insurance. And most of the time you do not even have co-pays when it comes to your mental health.
Does it matter the person's location, whatever state? Does it matter?
Yeah, it does matter because I'm licensed in Minnesota and soon to be Iowa. So I'm trying to get credential in a lot of states so I'll be able to reach um lots lot
Yes,
of demographics. So after Iowa, I plan to do Pennsylvania because my
yeah,
initial license was from Pennsylvania, and then some, certain states on the East Coast where I know there's huge African or like
right.
population.
Yeah, I think that will be helpful. Yeah, I mean that's a very unique way of giving back. Wow. So let's take a step forward a bit. Your own country. You watch the social media, you see things happening, and you as a professional, I know a lot of things runs through your head. What is going on? What are these people doing? It's not a matter of talking politics, but politics around all of the major happenings in the country and how the society generation degenerate as well. Do you have any future thing in mind? Like, you know what? Maybe during one of my leisure times, let me go do this here. Something at some point in time you think to consider?
Yeah, I mean, at some point, I will look into it, but right now it's trying to establish myself the best way that I can here. I strongly believe, like I was talking to someone and they were like, oh, we should go back and help the people back home. But I strongly believe there is more need in this country when it comes to the Liberian community. So
Yeah.
I rather start here, helping the people here, making huge impact here. And then it can trickle towards Liberia. It's a huge country.
And
I
then you're going to speak eventually speaks for itself, in fact.
Yes, yes. So I strongly believe as an individual is making impact in the community, reaching more people that I can meet, reach and having people do things for people here before I say, oh, Liberia that I have not been in 30 some more years. I don't know what is happening on the ground over there. Like
Mm,
you said, it
right.
would take time for me to go there, study the ground to see what's happening. And in order not to waste time or take time away from whatever I want to do here, I'd rather start here first in helping people, like being credentialed in certain states that have a huge Liberian population, so people will be able to reach out to me and I can do their assessment, even their kids. So kids go to school and all they say, oh, that child is so rude, they don't sit one place, they can't do this, they don't do that, they're not paying attention. Some of those things, they're attention deficit. A lot of us were undiagnosed growing up because they label you as a tomboy. Oh yeah, she's always busy, she want to be climbing a tree. They don't pay attention in school. These things are attention deficit that kids have, but they have not had been diagnosed properly to get treated. And these things, there's treatment out there. So I rather make those impact in the community, telling people that, oh, you know what, I saw your son today, maybe you should have them checked out. Some parents would not want to hear that, but you can't go too heavy. You just have to talk to them in the best way possible for them to understand at their level.
How difficult it is, people become more apprehensive when they hear about these treatment medication. Oh, they want to give them medication, they give them medication with me, well, with me, stupid, we do this, don't matter. And it's one of the things that we rival with, especially from we typical African. Don't take that. If they give it to you, just throw it away. We see people talk about this thing. Uh, People are listening to us, and I think you mentioned something like starting from here. And I was talking to one of the community leaders, and they're talking our people, our people. So the question was, people that here say in desperation. they need help.
Mm-hmm.
Do you know how many people really need help here who can even go about do their own immigration, can even appointment, people got to take them. We have these organizations. There's no end needed to focus on the social services aspect. These people, they are left vulnerable. They do their own thing. Other people carrying them, and then we say, all of the resources. How would this situation go? Do you looking at the possibility of maybe when time permits, a kind of seminar or workshop? I hope these community leaders, community organizations will really find time, which of course is another problem because people go to convention, they go to these places, or they want people want to just dance. People want who want come to educate, to refresh, to open their minds. They are not interested, and I know it to be there. And you know what I'm talking about. We went all through that here. Do you think to kind of take a different approach where something perhaps you yourself, the group or whatever, organize it, and there'll be a kind of really focused minded people that will go and get something to do. Because my friend, our people, not our people, all of our brand community. Trust me, because I'm like, oh man, you know, it's just not good for us.
Mm-hmm. You know, these conventions that if if we can have, even if it's 5 or 8 hours, plan something well, it's easy for you to implement. If you say, if the convention starts on Friday, okay, Friday afternoon, if you plan this thing way in advance, or say a year in advance, and say, okay, Friday when everyone come, even though we're still going to have the welcome night, but this time, this room would be set up for us to do check people blood pressures, check their blood sugars, educate them on the importance of seeking help when they need it, especially when it comes to their overall health, and educate people, have flyers, have these leaflets to give to people, with tangible information that, oh, if you need help, if you want me to teach you, if you want to learn how to how to monitor your blood pressure, reach me at this number. And if people are able to reach you at that number that you have on the paper, they will start trusting the process. But everything we do it has to do with planning. You plan well and you implement well, and people will start to pay attention to these things, because most of the time we will say these things, but we don't put any plan into motion. And people will come to this convention, and all we know how to do is to have the welcome night, the Saturday morning business meeting, which is not so much of a business meeting, I call that a yelling meeting. And then we all go back, and in the night we go back to the bar, and it's the same circle over and over. But if we plan and put certain things and say, oh, you know what, this time frame set for a symposium where people will come and learn certain things about their overall well-being, I think people would pay attention. It's just a matter of how much information you put out there, how you push these things, and how you make it known to the people.
Absolutely. Your post that you did, and then I wrote something. I believe you saw that. And my man here too. Let me say he want pick on me. Let me pick on him because the guy, people, they waiting. We don't get time. Some of all go out can anytime. Man go can 1 o'clock. He eating toboggy. From there he go to bed, swallow and go to bed. What is the danger in that health wise?
Health wise, the older you get, the more you have to be attentive to your health. And even eating late, because I was saying that post 85% of what we eat is what makes us gain weight, and portion control.
I'm not able to do that one.
I'll tell you, Alfonso, it's all about discipline. It's all being disciplined. Honestly, it's just all being disciplined. It's easy to gain weight, but losing weight is one of the hardest things that you will ever have to do. So in order to prevent that is to just be disciplined. There's help out here. Now there's so much out here available to help people lose weight. There's so much, there's medications, there programs that will help you to do those things. If like, I'll tell you, the rice, even the rice that we eat, most Liberians eat that parboiled yellow rice.
Hmm.
That
Elaborate Pusawa,
Yes,
right?
yes. That rice
Don't,
is so
don't, don't give a high tire or wrong with it.
that rice is not a good rice, but that's the rice we're used to eating from the time we were small. That rice has
Wait a minute. You mean before or now?
it's still it's not a good rice.
Oh my goodness.
So people don't know that. And these are things that, because we're used to that rice, because growing up in Liberia, that's like the best rice you can eat. So you have to make lifestyle changes when you want to lose weight. It's lifestyle changes. And lifestyle changes can be expensive, but you can make it as cheap as you can, as you want it to be. But lifestyle changes, when it comes to your health, can be expensive, and I do get it. But do you want to live a healthy life, or you want to worry about how much you're putting into this stuff? Because that rice alone, I wouldn't eat that rice, because it gives diabetes. And I'll tell
And
you,
that's what I was coming to, not to interrupt you that, because and we don't want our people to leave here with something. Oh, one LPR today, one doctor was speaking and said that rice not good, right? But I just wanted you to really provide the correct, and that's what you were coming to. You say again, people have diabetes.
yeah, it's because the rice. Sometimes we don't look at the fine prints on the food that we eat. And now I was telling somebody, was like, well, how come there are so much people with diabetes and high blood pressure in the community? Because it's from the food we eat. I said the typical thing, the rice. I said, how many? So I gave them an example. I said, how many Chinese people or Asian people do you see buying that rice? And they said, As I said, yeah, it's only my people that buy that rice. I said, but when you go to the store, you see, if you stand there, and I did an assessment by myself in back in January when I started that journey. I went in the store and I stood there for almost 5-10 minutes, and every Asian that came, they never took that rice. They all bypassed that rice and went to another rice that they were taking. So then I went to the owner of the store and I was like, I'm looking for rice. And he said, oh, but your people, he said, where are you from? So I said, he said, are you, he said, you're African American? I said, no, I'm Liberian. And he said, yeah, your people, I don't know why they like that rice. So I turned to him. I was like, what rice do you eat? And he took me on a different aisle
No.
and showed me this rice. The rice is a small bag of rice, but it costs almost $16. And he said, yeah, that's the rice I eat with my family. So I was like, okay, that's the rice I'm going to eat now. And I was like, why don't you eat that rice, which is the pabo rice? He said, oh, that rice, even if you're washing it, do you see that, it's so white. It has a lot of starch. It had, this rice, diabetes. No, no, no. I will eat this rice. So from that moment, I bought that rice and I was like, that's the rice we're going to eat now.
So, Pusawa board, I get to know throw away. Why you you bring to? So, this is why Mr. McGee is one of our followers. So, and I be say, so how about country rice? One of our follower Mangi Jackson Mangi is asking. So, what sort of rice then? That
Well,
should
I
we
don't
be looking for?
I,
White
sorry.
rice or what?
I eat the basmati rice. And there are different grades of rice when you go to the store. Just try to look at the fine print, try to look for something that is more healthy, and it's okay to still eat the pusawa rice, but I would not eat rice around 9, 10 in the night, and then the next thing you're falling asleep. So now you didn't have chance for that rice to metabolize or for you to break down the rice. So you finish eating, you're going to sleep. All that rice is resting in your stomach, and you're going to sleep. So some of the stuff that make us gain weight. I don't know much about the country rice, how much stash it has, but if it's organic, I'm sure that's good rice.
Wow. I think we need to be having some sort of, hopefully, some time permit to really have this sort of uh, conversation, because a healthy society makes a healthy community. When people are sick and we don't know, out of not some on purpose, but out of ignorance, assuming this is all without really talking to the professional, is quite common. And that's one of the things we try to do here, to talk to people from different professional backgrounds, to create that sort of awareness. What am I talking? The other man still on Liberian country rice is best. Okay, Dr. Ten around here now to one of our analysts, he now can we only Liberian country rice is the best, no doubt. Now,
No
this
doubt.
guy here, this guy, he comes to a full conclusion now that is the best. What makes it the best? We don't know.
Yeah, I can only speak for stuff there's something that I know, but
Hmm.
I mean, look at the fine print. If the rice is organic, that's good. It's just all about portion control and what time of the night. Like I try to eat dinner by 5:30, at least 6 p.m., and then drink a lot of water. Drink a lot of water, hydrate yourself.
Are
And
you kidding me? After 5 p.m., nothing else?
mm-mm, I'll drink water.
Oh, I don't know. I will, my say, are you sure after 5 p.m.? Oh my goodness. Wow. So,
But let's say 6 p.m., depending on your lifestyle and your schedule, 6 p.m. eat dinner, 7 eat dinner, and don't eat again until the next day. But eating late at night, snacking in between, like salty, there are healthy snacks. There's healthy snacks, protein, protein, protein. And I'll tell you the truth, Alfonso, if you eat 3 meals filled with protein, you're not hungry in between and snacking. Like my issue was snacking, not eating full meals, but I would sit there and snack and snack and snack. And then by the time I get ready to eat, I've already snacked enough. I'll eat a little bit of food, but then I'm like, oh, I don't even eat a lot. But yeah, of course, I'm eating a lot because I'm snacking throughout the day.
hmm, okay, we intend not to keep you yet. I want to visit tomorrow, work day and all of that. Now, people are listening. The folks that are listening, we're going to be going back to play the what? Oh, let me say, use myself as a case study here. Let's let it cast start eating your own baby. What should we really be looking out for ourselves, to prevent some of these things that we were talking about? You talking about here, and out of ignorance, sometimes we say, "Oh, it's nothing, man." I mean, I've been doing this in Gigi route, and anything can happen, and we feel that we are immune to this thing here. What should we be looking out for ourselves for this sort of healthy body, sounds, mental health, and all of that?
Well, first and foremost, if you do your annual checkup, you know, call your doctor. If you're over 45, do your colonoscopy, do for men, do your prostate exams. For females, do your pap smear, get breast exam, do your annual physical. At least it's better for you to know there's something going on and have it taken care of before it gets too late. And a lot of the time we're like, oh, that person was okay, and then they just died. How? So I asked someone, I was like, how do we know that person was okay? We don't know that because we don't have this person medical record, and we don't know if they were even checking to see if they have hypertension, which is the number one killer for Black men of African descent. So are you checking these things? It's just going and doing your annual physical. Even if you just go once a year, And some of the most difficult people are the male patients that, you know, it can be white, black, whatever color. Men are the most difficult people to go to seek health care. But doing your exams, checking, doing your mammogram, doing your pap smear, where to check your pelvic, your uterus, and do those things and check to see if there's something going on and have it taken care of. And you'll be surprised that a lot of the time, most of these cancers can be treated, if they're cut early at an early stage. But people just don't check. They're afraid to go and check. It's the fear of the unknown, it's the fear of not knowing what to do. Your annual exam, go see your doctor, call your doctor, schedule these exams, have them done, and have peace of mind.
What is the danger of having fear doing these things? I'm going to tell you, say, oh, here, and then you think they're just going to crush you. The mind too much for something. What is the danger? Because, and I get your point. Avoiding it's not even going to help it. It's going to even make it worse because eventually it's gonna happen.
Mhm.
But people that have that sort of doubt, how can you? What is the motivating words to use? Yes, go. You go for the first time. Do you do some extra follow up just in case you hear something and you don't see, or second view, third views on stuff?
Mhm. If you go and get your physical, if they find something, they'll do labs, do Lala exams. Say, for example, for the females, they will do breast exam. Then they'll send you for if they find something or they don't find something. When you're 40 and above, then they take you go and do your mammogram. So it's better when if for example, if they find like a lump, it's easy for them to take care of it right there if it's certain stage. But if you wait until it goes to stage 3, stage 4, and at that point where there's nothing they can do, then sometimes it's too late. So it's okay for you to go. And even when they tell you something, if you have doubt, you can seek second, third opinion, but don't waste too much time trying to seek third, fourth opinion before you do something. So it's always good for you to check things out. I rather know than not know, because I feel I live in the greatest country on earth when it comes to healthcare. We have a lot of disparities in healthcare in this country when it comes to minorities. However, there's still help out here. Just check it out when you know it's something you have in doubt, or if the doctor tell you that, oh, maybe let's do the mammogram. Say if you do the breast exam, and they say, you need to do mammogram, or you need to do ultrasound, or you need to do biopsy. Follow those steps. Do as they're telling you. And in the end, it's just for them to find you the right help that is needed. So, for example, if you have diabetes, or they tell you you're pre-diabetic, because there's certain sliding scale that you have to be on the hemoglobin. We call it hemoglobin A1C, which tests for diabetes. If you're on certain level, then they start to educate you how to control your diet, your weight, and those kind of things, for it to help you to prevent you from crossing over to becoming a diabetic. So those things, these things are out there. There is help. All you have to do is just ask. If you don't know, just seek help. And there's help out here. There are a lot of nurses in our community. There are a lot of people. And like I said, I'm also here to give you guidance and tell you what to expect when you go to these appointments. If you don't know what to expect, we can educate you.
Okay, I think this is one of the informative, educated. They my man here, they country red between here. He can't afford let go. It's because let me see, even one can. Because I'm cultivating my farm right now, I need your advice. Can you reach out this thing there? Then I'm for nothing, my man. Reach out to her. He said, "Well, he cultivated. Why are you saying, Mr. Mangill? I'm cultivating my farm right now, I need your advice on the country. When they say don't eat that country where man, you go eat a secret way, I don't care what happened to. Yeah,
You
but mhm.
can eat his rice. He can eat his rice. It's just, like I said, portion control.
Yeah. Don't call the bowl like Mount Kilimanjaro and then people stand there and look over look into a blue river and things like that. That's it. Okay, well, it's 7:16. I think it was a great conversation. This Sunday evening, I see here responses, good takeaway. We need to be doing this, and that's why for us at LPR, yeah, we talk other things, but sometimes we need to go in the community, people that we can learn from, people that have the expertise, tap into the expertise, and bring some real education, especially health awareness. I think this is so badly needed, and we don't see it coming from organizations. They should reach out to these professionals. You, that's part of being a leader. It's got to be farsighted, be smart, go out, go all out for people for help. The people are basic. So somebody's calling. Yeah, basic. All right, Dr. Khan. I know tomorrow is morning. Is working day. We really, really appreciate your time. This is trust me, this is a valuable conversation. We hope we're going to talk behind the scene and see what other things can happen in the long run. But I want to thank you so much for taking your time this summer. That's a unique way of giving back to the community. But some all conversation are for those the latecomers coming to class or whatever it is for your final message.
So my final message here is there's help out here. Like I said, I try to give back in so many ways. It does not have to be in when it comes to money. You can seek my advice. I can tell you process and procedures. I can give you resources if you need those kind of things because I don't want people to think, oh, if I go, they would tell me the bad thing and then I don't know what to do with it. There's help. Even for your kids, there's help. If you have a child who the teachers are complaining all the time, the child is not sitting still, this child is not paying attention, but your child is very smart. Those things can be attention deficit. There's psychological testing to test the child to see how best they can get on medication. There's ADHD medications out here, and kids, some children that I know started taking these medication from the age of 6, and they're able to live a productive life, become doctors. I have, one of the best neurosurgeon that I worked with in Minnesota here. He has Asperger, which is a form of autism, but he's the best neurosurgeon you can find. Okay. But because he had parents that pay attention to his mental health when it came to those kind of things, and he was able to go to college, go to med school, become a surgeon. So there's help out here. And like I said, I do understand there's a lot of disparities when it comes to healthcare, when it comes to minorities, but that's the good thing now because you have people like us who have whole lot of knowledge to guide you along the way. So feel free to contact me. I'm always available. Like I said, if you DM me, it'll take me a couple of minutes, a couple of days, but I do get back to people within 24 hours. And if you need any sort of advice, whether you having surgery or want to make that first appointment to do your physical, I can explain the process to you. And so it makes things easier because when people know things and people have knowledge, then the anxiety level for things decreases. So I'm here for you all. You don't worry about, me talking about you to someone. I'm such an introvert that people don't know that part of me. But my son would say, my mom is an introvert. People don't know that she's an introvert. She's more of a person who is into herself. She's not out there like that, but people see it on the other side. Oh, like she's sociable. Yeah, I can be sociable when I'm writing and stuff, but on social media, but I'm an introvert. You don't have to worry because that's my profession that I do. I'm not in the business of telling people business to other people, especially if they confide in me when it comes to their healthcare or even their personal or private life. If you have any domestic issue at all, domestic violence is so huge in our community as well. I'm here for you and I will give you my all. I will give you resources. I will tell you what to do in order for you to live a very healthy and life in the community.
Okay, well, thank you so much. This is one of the best. I'm thinking what to do for my Pusawa right now. I will eat it 1 year to net. The other one, and I will know.
Yeah, don't eat the whole plate. Don't let the whole plate to be full.
Yeah, I have to perform some sort of surgical operation and get a portion control. Like you said, I love that word. I will see. I gotta talk to Sissy too because he one of those. I went to a house and he blew the whole portion control and brought hell of a play with it until we all just passed out. What Dr. Thelma Brown-Kaine, thank you so much
Thank
for
you.
your time this evening, and looking forward in the near future to do something. But we'll talk behind the scene. Thank you so much.
Thank you. Thank you so much for having me. It's a pleasure. And I look forward to doing this again.
Okay, thank you so much.
Thank you. All right. Bye, everyone.
Right. Okay. So portion control. Sissy, I want you to count your kettle. What are you able to think they call portion control? Okay, well, folks, sometimes I will say here, we always have to exchange the flavor. And one thing I want to be compelling Sissy now to do, we're forcing here to get him out of the politics and focus on his era here. What are the brown straw thinning? Who do who? We need to get him out to focus because I think part of the reason we are having all of these issues is maybe the media industry itself is so polarized. We take side. We are not creating the honest conversations for the good of our people to get people out there to give their professional views, opinions, providing the statistics and all of that in order for people to make informed decision. But politics has taken control over everything, and so we need to do. Yeah, so we need to do that because when you have the rightful people, you have the rightful conversation. It's not the point that you want to hear something. They will tell you what you need to know, and that's I think should be our role to tell people what they need to know. Ultimately, it's with them to decide what to do. It's not a matter of being so persuasive. You tell people the truth, and then they will know. And that's a problem with these organizations that we have. The people here, we ourselves need help. 99% of the time, the resources are directed in Liberia, and even when it gets there, it doesn't get on to the rightful people. A lot of people go there, they corrupt the system. But I think it is time. I'm not saying we shouldn't look back to our country, but it is time to fix what is on our own feet right before us, manage it, contain it, so that way we'll be more strong and more engaged with what is happening to back home. We don't want to mix this great evening, information, health, conversation here. We don't want to mix it with politics, so we're going to leave it here this evening. And trust me, tomorrow morning we're going to come with a headache with the liberal and his guys coming here again with a tabata. But there's no bad bush for a child. We will continue to dig with these things here. But I will make sure have these conversations. I want to thank you so much. We was consistently trying to reach out to her and many others in different professional field to come here to give their take on issues that are affecting our community, our society, and our personal life, the generation. They are there and they are willing to show up. We also just have to reach to them, not people who Capitol Hill, one group living in Jomatan, another group living in Busekwara, another people living in Somalia Drive. No, I think it is time to approach the professionals, people that are willing to give all, no matter what it takes, whatever extra mile you want to go. If we all do that, that's a unique way of giving to our country. And I know our people back home, they are listening well, that they will tap into the expertise of these people. You know, some of them, they don't need much. But you can't have later that day, you can't have, say, you can't say you must pay your own way. Nothing is free. All the year, I mean, I never far that, I never even find. Somebody quarter drop it once go, it one goes into manhole, they running behind it so it can't fall down. So nothing free. But I would just have to be to look out there, especially the issue of mental health. Now, it's very much people behave unusual, do things, and sometimes we just downplay it, but there are things responsible to on the medical side of it. The only way you will know unless you talk to people from that background with the expertise. So if we don't give our people the help that they need, we will continue to have the society that we have. You will continue to have people just doing things and you think is normal. It is abnormal. Enough for nothing. Enough for nothing. People say, you know, the world is like a back of a tree. You know, go out there in the bush, you use your whatever axe or whatever you use on the back of a tree. When it drops, that's it. You can't put it there and stick for it. So worries, people they throw things out without them having second thought. What I'm saying here was someone being inflicted, was somebody be hurt, was somebody feel different. They don't care. But is it a normal thing or something else is influencing their decisions, their actions, their way of demonstrating to whatever the thinker they are doing? Is it a normal thing? I don't know. Unless you talk to the profession. Hey, Mr. Lee, thank you for being here. Joe, you're always one of our valuable listeners. Ambassador Dan, and all of you great people. Lucky, good. Dario Bangu, they're always here. We want to thank you so much. Anytime LPR is here, you're always here. Roosevelt Jackson, thank you for your question. My own concern now, Mampusawa, I don't know what to do. I already finished ruling that one, but I think tonight Umpa will go next one, then we can talk about it. But tonight Umpa already finished. I finished putting it on the radar. It good to go. So the next one we'll talk about it. But well, folks, Riverside Pro, good to have you here. Moses, good to have you here. Bidel Joey, thank you for your time this evening. Of course, our own man, Wilton Keto. Wilton Keto, Dr. Keto, he say country res at the writing in Dr. Ten around. If you need cutting your own case. Joe, good to Joe Mullerbrand, thank you for your time this evening. Josephine Campbell, right there in Des Moines, Iowa. Jojo, how you doing? Hope everything is going well. Benani, thank you so much. Milot Kikula, good to have you here. Mr. Claude Johnson, good to have you. Tap Linans Jiwe, the first. And of course, our own Fatuma is here. Sharif, good to have you here. Thank you so much, always. But if you can just avoid this labor here, trust me, you'll be good. Phoenicia, good to have you. Of course, our own Lpr analyst, May Koto Jala, those people now, they are BB people. They all on the radio. I don't even know what happened. Said the liberals say, I don't know what happened. I learned the fire toward the fire CC and the liberals, so they can't they can't go back. And they're coming back. Okay, so you didn't hear that? The liberal service has been terminated on the state broadcasting, and I will be going there in place of him. So that will be quite interesting. Well, guys, it's 7:30 Eastern Standard Time. We want to just leave it cool here. By God's willing, we'll be back here. Turn on the watch for eyes of the Liberal Progressive tomorrow with conversation with Samson Toll. Until then, this is the Examiner right here. I am Afonso Zian Soul right here from the East Coast, Lpr New England Bureau. And like we said, there's a news content sharing coming soon on Lpr with our sister network, Big FM. Everything is already sealed out. It just because of the time to try to fit in a better slot time. Hopefully 2 days we will start, be it one evening, one morning, one of the programs. So we're going to have a conversation so that we will know exactly when they're going to start. The guys are ready already, but we just need to make sure that we have so when it starts, it can be consistent. Yeah. Until then, guys, have a pleasant. Thank you for sharing your Sunday evening with us. We're going to leave here. We're not going to dilute this conversation. So tonight, let's just put the politics on way away. Tomorrow we'll come back here and take care of the liberal and his man, Jerry Bacon. We'll be here tomorrow. We'll not allow them to have their way and say A and think the case is concluded. No, that's not going to happen. We're going to put them in check. It's good to have a side, but be truthful. Be truthful to the person that you support. That's all we require. Until then, folks, have a pleasant event, and let me leave you with this beautiful song. It's one of the same people here.